Another Saturday morning review. This is my 2002 Dakota RT 5.9 regular cab. One of 61 metallic silver that year in regular cab. 11 went to Canada, so 50 in the States. It's kind of rare. You don't see these anymore. They've been wore out and wrecked or traded in or what have you, or have a million miles on them if they're still on the road. But this one's still hanging in there. I've had it for about 7 years. We'll go through and talk about some of the work I've done to it and go through what I'm going to be planning on next. All right, so first things first, let's get to the elephant in the room here. Even though we're not in a room, we're outside. But this is 6-year-old rubber dip. It's not plastic dip. This is the cans you can get at Lowe's. I self-thinned it, sprayed it myself, and it looked really good. It came out nice and flat. Looked really good 6 years ago. But it's been outside and it got faded, and so as I pressure washed it the other day, some of it was coming off, and then I really went to town with the pressure washer and got some more of it off. But if I have time today after I do the other things I plan on doing today, I'll try to get most of that off and respray it. I mean, most of it held up pretty good, like on the grill. That's kind of hard to tell with the sun being right in my face, but definitely need to go through and redo it. Has the Stillen front bumper cover on it. I'd put new fog lights in it and new headlights in it last time I had it on the road. Flat tire on my stock chrome spare, so on my stock chrome wheel, so I got a spare on there that I actually found at a pull apart. Luckily, it was just sitting in the back of a Durango or something somewhere, and so I picked it up. Got street scene small mirrors. This has real plastic dip on it from the can, but I did start peeling it off. It still comes off pretty good. They're a lot smaller than the stock mirrors, so I don't really get to see who's behind me too often. I just pay attention to who's in front of me. The paint is dull. Somebody had resprayed it before I got it, just to kind of get some color back into it. I guess they did. In the certain light, you can see where it'd been resprayed. The suspension, the back has I want to say 2 or 3 inch lowering blocks, and then on the front I have DJM tubular control arms, which drops it another 3 inches, and it has new Beltec springs in it, which also drops it probably another 1.5 inches. So as you can see, it's too low. I'm gonna have to put new stock control arms in it, and it'll raise it back up, and should be about the same gap as this side, or the back, I mean, which would be fine with me. I want to put some fatter tires on it with more meat. Thanks, neighbors, for coming outside and doing yard work. Appreciate it. The bed cover I'd found on Craigslist a couple years back for like $65 or something like that. It wasn't a big buy, but it definitely helped with. At the time, I was just driving this, so needed to pick up groceries or whatever, put them in the back, because with a regular cab, you're not going to get anything in there with 2 people in there. Tinted the back third brake light. I did take these stickers off because they had been on for years. That one said "Loud pipe save lives." That was funny. Of course, the built not bought, but actually that was all complete there the other day, so now I gotta take that one off. We had a bad storm yesterday, so excuse me. That one said yes, it's fast, no you can't drive it, and as of right now I can't drive it either. But I mean, it does run. I do drive it around the neighborhood, but It's not tagged at the moment because it's been sitting. The rear end has 456 gears in it. Factory's 392. So it does like to get up and move stoplight to stoplight. Top end, not so much. We'll look on the inside. These are, oh, the sun's right in the glare, they're giving glare. These are neon SRT 4 seats from the early 2000s. They're basically the same as the Viper seats, but the Viper seats have the cutouts for the harness. They man, they feel good. It feels like a race car. I mean, I get in it and my elbows are bent just like in a race car, and of course I can get all the pedal I want to. Little RT badge, a chrome RT badge, and I'm gonna put on somewhere, probably in here like this. This is not mounted. I'll just have it sitting there for now. I'll probably put the chrome one there just to match the wheels or whatever. The inside looks good. You know, there's dash is all in one piece. All the pieces are here except for, let me slide back out. Got to lay off the ice cream. This little piece here tilts the wheel up and down, so I have it. I need to put it in so it's a little easier for me to get in and out. Probably the project for today is whenever I pulled it out, got it running, started cleaning it up, I had all these little black spots here. Well, they wasn't static like this. They was moving. If you look up under here, that is ants. Because this thing's so low and was sitting in the weeds, I guess ants has got in here. So project of the day is to rip out everything you see. One of the things I do want to do is, you see I have like an inch or two right here. If I take that out and just put just the carpet back in there, I'll have to see how it is. It feels like it moves, so it feels like that's plastic under there or something. I'm gonna pull that stuff out so I have a little bit more room when I set the seat back. As you can see, just a little bit of room there, just to give me another inch or two, be comfortable. But yeah, project of the day is ripping this interior out, making sure I don't find any more ants. I mean, this is all dead ants. This really sucks, but you know, it's my fault for leaving it untouched for so long. Let's look up under the hood here. I have a few more things under the hood that I've done throughout the years. Doesn't look like much. Battery will need to get replaced, of course. It's old. I started every other day now after I charged it and jumped it off. But I have a Spectre dual intake, or snorkel intake, I guess you'd say. Took the had the plenum intake plenum gasket leak, as most of these do. I don't know if you can tell, those are new bolts in there. This is a modified Kager intake that's in it now. The runners have been shortened and the injector holes have been beveled, whatnot. It's got the Mopar Magnum valve covers. These are Mike Leach headers. He was one of the first guys to start making headers for these things back in the early 2000s. Or maybe it was late 90s, early 2000s. I think these trucks came out in 98, the RTs anyway. So those are Mike Leach headers. They go down to high flow cats, full 3-inch dual exhaust, custom, with an X pipe, and I want to say they're about 18-inch long glass packs on it. They're pretty big. You know, it still has a nice rumble at idle, but full throttle, it's crazy loud. But yeah, this is it. You know, I've done some transmission work to it, which now that I parked it because, for one, the control arm on this side where it mounts to the frame, the bracket had broke on the front end of the control arm, and then the back end was kind of starting to bend, so the wheel would literally tow itself in and out by itself, and it finally broke. So I got in there and welded some ears back on the bracket and did some welding to get it back to where I could drive it, and it's been holding up. I'll be going through and showing video or pictures of it as I'm doing it. I'm going to redo it, make it look good. And then also parked it because my reverse went out. The reverse servo piston had broken a spot, and it just doesn't get very good pressure in it. So on flat ground, it will go in reverse, but if you hit the gas, it sounds like it's in neutral. It's just not getting enough pressure to activate reverse, I guess you would say. So I do have another transmission that I'll probably just pop in for now and rebuild the one that's in here, or rebuild the other transmission and put it in here and do it right the first time. And I do have another spare motor. I had bought a parts truck and had 120,000 miles on it. Long story short, the guy and the woman that owned it, it was an extended cab. They had suicide doors on it, which, you know, pop open in reverse style. And they was going down the road, and the door poppers decided to go ahead and pop for some reason, and the door had flung open and messed up the whole back end of the truck, and he had cut it out and was working on it, and they finally just gave up on it. So I'd bought that truck just to get extra parts and motor and transmission stuff that I would need. So, you know, if I do put the transmission in here from that truck, this thing will still be running and driving while I rebuild that transmission. And also with the motor, this thing still runs and drives. I'll rebuild the motor at my own time, and, you know, with my own money, and get it going while I'm still enjoying this thing as it is. It's not the fastest thing in the world. It will beat up on that thing, I'll tell you that right now. It does get up and move. Went through a few sets of tires on it. It's a burnout king. But them 456 gears, man, it'll run with some of the new stuff, stoplight to stoplight, but don't have anything for them on the interstate. But this is just to walk around. A few things I've done. You know, of course, I'm missing a lot of stuff that I've done, I'm sure. But I will be upgrading to Durango brakes in the front, which has dual piston calipers versus single piston. And, you know, eventually maybe one day put Viper wheels on it or something. I really enjoy these factory wheels, but we'll get it there eventually. One day a 6-speed supercharger, you know, normal car guy stuff, you know, I always want more. But this is just to walk around. I guess I'll say project number 2, since that one is legal, we'll consider it number 1. This will be number 2, and number 3 is sitting in a secret lair, as I said in the last video. We'll get it out as soon as these two are driving and going to shows and beating up on some of these other guys out here. Yes, just an old Dakota, just an old pickup truck with a big small block in it. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll get another one out here.